Okay, so the next meditation is about this Satara Agati. That is, we have 4 unprofitable directions. It is that we are going bad way. So there are 4 bad ways. That's going bad way through will, going bad way through hate, going bad way through fear, and going bad way through delusion. So this one is in this website. We have this Satara Agati, and I will be using this particular slide for that one. So yesterday we discussed these 4 nutriments. That is the physical nutriment. Remember, we were using that sun-space discourse, and then we understand that physical nutriment as the food that we are eating, as well as the beautiful person is also physical nutriment. So physical nutriment, then we get the perversion that there is fair while it is foul, or sometimes translated as beauty while it is ugly. So remember, we were talking about that example of hair. When you have hair in your head, you comb it and treat it as a good thing. But if you see the same hair on a plate that you are eating, you are saying it is disgusting. So the correct perception is what you see on the plate. It's sort of an ugly thing. So there is a perception that it is fair while it is foul. Not only a perception, there is a thought. When you look at someone as that particular person's hair is beautiful, and then you look at that person, then you get that person is beautiful as well. So you get the thought that it is fair while it is foul. And then, not only that you get a view that it is fair while it is foul. One good example is this durian. Durian is sort of smelly. The person who is eating, that person tolerates the smell of it. If there are 2 persons in a car, one is eating durian, the other person will feel like, if he is not eating durian, that person feel like jumping out of the car. The person who is eating durian, that person is tolerating the smell of that one. So when it comes to views, we tolerate. So there is a view that it is fair while it is foul. You see, our body is full of impurities, that it has got this hair of the body, nail, teeth, skin, flesh, saliva, snot, and so on. And so the mouth is smelly. So someone is sort of touching this one, thinking that it is a good thing. So that particular time, that person is tolerating the smell of the mouth and so on. So there are 3 perversions over there. That is a perception that it is fair while it is foul, the thought that it is fair while it is foul, the view that it is fair while it is foul. When you get that perception, for example, then you get clinging to sensual desire. So when you cling to sensual desire, then, for example, that food that you are eating, you want to eat it today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, and so on. And then you get the bond of sensual desire. What is the bond of sensual desire? The bond means that it is not letting you escape from samsara, from birth to birth. You see, since you want to have food, then you are going to work. Going to work is considered as stealing. So since you are stealing, you will be born again. When you are born again, then you want to have food again. So therefore you are going back to the job. So you can see it's like a dog, tying with a rope to a sort of a pole, and it is going around the pole. I want I want food, therefore I am going to the job. Since I am going to the job, it's considered stealing, so I'll be bored because of this one. And then I got to have food again. So, running around the pole. So then, because of this food, sensuality. So from that one we get the body tie of covetousness. The body tie of covetousness we learned yesterday that having seen something, you are saying, let this be mine. So here we are talking about body. You see that since I want to have food, so I am tying to the food. And then not only that one, for me to have food, I got to have a job, so I am tying to the job as well. Like bound by a rope. And then, not only that one, I am bound to this, the institution that providing me the job. So there's another tie. And for me to go to work, I got to have a vehicle. So you are tying to the vehicle. Sometimes people say, I miss my bus. Buses belong to the government or some institution, but we are taking it as mine as well. So you are tying to that one as well. So there is body tie of covetousness. And not only that, you got to have a house for you to cook that food. So you are tying to the house. And you are tying to the cooker as well. The most important equipment in your house. It is the cooker, isn't it? I mean, you can live without a TV, but you need a cooker to cook it. Sometimes, husband is saying, I am busy, so don't disturb me. And then, later, wife is coming and telling, we haven't got gas to cook today, so I can't cook. So the husband will stop everything he is doing and then, going and buying a gas cylinder. Because he is also working to have these meals. If you are not going to eat, then what's the point of working? So you are tying to everything. So here the body tie of covetousness. The taint of sensual desire. The taint of sensual desire is a post-perception of you taking something as pleasurable. That is that, let us say you are entering a house and then you get a nice smell, somebody is cooking something. So now you are thinking, okay, I am going to have a good curry today. But it is only after eating that you know whether the curry has got salt, whatever the taste that you wanted to, whether it is there or not. So that is, so after eating, if you are saying this is good, so that is a post-perception of you taking something as pleasurable. So that is the taint of sensual desire. So these taints, increase. When it increases, you get the flood of sensual desire. Just imagine that, the food that you are eating today. You used to eat Sri Lankan food. Oh, then you can see later on you are eating Australian food, American food. That everything is increasing in that sense. So when it comes to the unbearable state, then we are reaching what is called barb of lust. Yesterday also we discussed this term, the barb of lust. At this particular time, that an arrow, a dart is wedging into your mind. What is that arrow? The dart is this one. The arrow is labeled as fair. What is inside the arrow is the foul nature. That is the poison. When the poison comes out, then you can see your body is getting wrinkled and all those things. But we take it as fair. And that arrow is wedging into your mind. So, it is the time that I was telling when young girls see a young boy see a young girl, their hearts are beating. By that time, if father or mother is saying, get rid of that girl, get rid of that boy, they can't, because it is in the bloodstream. That arrow is inside. The poison is inside. It thinks as a fair thing. So when we have this one, then form becomes the steady point for consciousness passing on. Because of the physical nutriment, we were coming to this barb of lust. So therefore we are going back and hold into the physical nutriment. It's like, that you are eating. From here to here, you get some feeling. And then after that one, you don't. So what you do? You are actually mixing up and putting it back. So you are going back to the form again. So this is a round. Round means physical nutriment. And then you come to the barb of lust. So we are going back to the physical nutriment. That's how that vehicle was driving, isn't it? Running from this one. So then form becomes the steadying point for consciousness. This is one of the knowledges of the Buddha. Buddha can say this person's mind is now holding to the form, now holding to the feeling and so on. So in this particular instance, it's holding to the form. So therefore you go bad way through will. So if you want food, what can you do? You need to creep into a mother's womb or womb of an animal or something. So you get 3 results by doing that one. That is birth, pain and distress. When small children, when they do a mathematical sum, they say 2 plus 3 is 5 and then draw 2 lines to the 5. Like that, the answer in this particular one line is pain. Don't draw lines, but it is the answer. So this pain is the one getting contacted by the mind. We learn contact as nutriment yesterday. So remember the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. These all are like a skin cow, isn't it? It's open. So when you have the contact, you get the perversion that there is pleasure while it is painful. What is contacting is the pain. Why are we saying that one? In this diagram you can see the birth, aging, sickness and death. So how long it will take for you to go from birth to death? Let's say 80 years. Now if you have lived 40 years, then 40 divided by 80. 50% pain. If you are 79, then 79 divided by 80. So you can see it's 99%. Even for a 4-year-old person, 4 divided by 80. That is the pain always getting contacted. But foolishly, we think it is pleasurable. So then, there is this perversion that there is pleasure while it is painful. So again, we have this, the perception, the thought and the view that it is pleasurable. So then when we pursue things as pleasurable, then we get the virtue and duty clinging. Remember I explained this one yesterday using that, small boy going somewhere with the father and then he see an engineer constructing a bridge and he thought, okay, I'll become an engineer, I'll become a doctor and so on. And then he would like, having here in Dhamma, would even like to go to the divine world by practicing virtue. So we explained that one yesterday. So virtue and duty clinging, you are holding the future. So then you get the bond of existence. Likewise, in the previous one we have a bond of sensual desire. And now you have the bond of existence. You are happy to go to the divine worlds, and be born in human world and be rich or whatever it is. Then you get the body tie of ill will. Why are we getting body tie of ill will? Over here we were talking about I become engineer, doctor and go to the divine world also. Good things, isn't it? Why I get the ill will? Because, that as we said that when we are happy moments, we actually hold the future. So, the example I gave was that, on a Sunday, a person is not going to work and, having go to a fair, bought things and cooked and then go to a river, have a bath and then, happily eating together. and you hold the future at that time. And then the next day morning you are thinking that tomorrow will be like this. Tomorrow comes, you get a phone call from your office. Don't come to work, you are fired. So you get the ill will. Now if you are fired, then you can think what happened to your body tie of covetousness. You were, you had the hold into your house, the institution, and even the cooker. So now all those things are useless, because if I don't have a job, how can I eat? What's the point of having a house or cooker? So the scenario. So whatever thing you are binding here in the body tie of covetousness, now they become body tie of ill will. The other way around now. And then you get the taint of existence. This taint of existence is a post-perception of you taking something as self. So I need to explain this. In the third column there is this perversion that there is self in the not self. How do we get the self? So the self is, yesterday also we touched upon a little bit, that mango example. You earn money, pay a lot of bills, gas bill, electricity bill and so on. And then you are ending up with $10 or so. So you went to a mango dealer, bought a rotten mango, cut down the rotten part and you eat. And then you are saying it is pleasurable. So that pleasure, when you are eating the mango, becomes the self, atta. So another example was that you are on a surfboard and then you are, sliding over there, and then we discuss that, self, I am here, I perceive. So in the mango example, is the mango yours? The mango, when you buy, you say that it is my mango. But if you are, next day when you are going to buy the mango dealer is dead, then you can't buy it. So really the mango is belong to the mango dealer. Then you go and ask mango dealer, is this mango yours? Mango dealer is saying, no sir, I got it from the farmer. So it's belong to the farmer. Then you go to the farmer and ask him, is it yours? No, it is not mine sir, it is belong to the tree. So if you can speak to a tree, then the tree will tell you that, it is belong to the earth. So that means elements, 4 great elements. So mango is not self. Mango is not yours, but the feeling coming out when you are actually eating the mango is self. So that is the perversion, that there is self while it is not self. And on the other hand, the surfboard example. So you are on the surfboard, you are actually saying, look at me, watch me, video me and so on. So at that particular moment he is taking that, there's a wave, water. That one as self. And also the feeling when he is sliding on this, wave, the feeling is self as well. Both are considered to be self. What did not he understand? He did not understand that when the wind stops, the wave is gone and I myself disappear. Will be fallen. In our case, how do we actually have this wave? We generated the wave from our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind. That wave, Buddha is saying, is really big compared to the wave in the 4 great oceans. Why is it Buddha is saying that one? You see, the times that you have been born as an animal, like a cow for example, when they cut your neck, the blood you shed is more than the water in the 4 great oceans. that many times you have been born as a cow, as a chicken. So that so many times. So that wave is so big. The wave that you generate from your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind. So what he did not understand, that is he actually got this, wave as self, and the feeling when he is sliding on that one as self. But what is not self is that the contact is not self. So post-perception of that one is the taint of existence, which can be explained in a diagram. Here you can see I have a black line from the mental volition to the birth. So the Dhamma to the left of this black line represent the greed. If I draw a parallel line, then from the perversion that there is pleasure, while it is painful, then I am reaching the taint of sensual desire. So the taint of sensual desire is the post-perception of me taking something as pleasurable. And if I draw another line from the perversion that there is self, while not self, I am reaching the taint of existence. So the taint of existence is the post-perception of me taking something as self. And if I draw another line from that perversion that there is permanence, then I am reaching the taint of views. So the taint of views is the post-perception of me taking something as permanent. So those are the post-perceptions. So now we were discussing this taint of existence, and this taint of existence becoming more, then it become a flood of existence, and when it comes to the unbearable state, then we are talking about the barb of hate. Remember we were talking about yesterday my grandfather who lived 100 years, and each time when we are going to eat and he is getting angry that he is saying that these people can't cook. What has happened is his taste buds are gone, but he is still demanding that let me have the pleasure that I used to have. So that means when you have this, that is the barb of hate. When you have the barb of hate, that something is wedging into our mind. That is this, a dart is wedging. The dart is labeled as pleasure. What is inside it is painful. That is what is happening to my grandfather, isn't it? Because he is thinking when he was eating, when he was young and like a child or something, and this is pleasurable. So the dart is there, it's pleasurable, but it is not so. And little while ago you learn every feeling ending up with pain. So there is this barb of hate here. Now when you have that, then what we get is feeling as telling point for consciousness passing on. Because from the contact as nutriment I got pleasure. So as my grandfather is demanding the same pleasure, we are going back to the pleasure. So it's like that monkey in the first path holding to the physical nutriment, now let go of that form, now it is holding to the feeling. So now then the feeling becomes steam point for consciousness, and then we go bad way through hate. Like my grandfather always, after the meal, he is grumpy and going out of the room. So here we have three results: the aging, sadness, separation from what is pleasing. The answer is the sadness. So now we have a simple meditation, and we will be extending that meditation little by little along the way. So what is that meditation? The physical nutriment and you are spinning with barb of lust, and you establish your consciousness in a canal of urine and excrement that is going bad way through will, and what you are getting is the pain. Pain contacted by the mind, what you are ending up with? Sadness. And this is what we learn in the first meditation. That is this painfulness as pain. You starting with the pain, ending up with the sadness. So when your feeling is sad, that is your first meditation, and you are extending it. When the feeling is sad, your perception is also sad. So from the sad perception, you have the volition here. Now you define your life. Remember, you took a rotten mango and cut down the rotten part, and then you define your life. I will earn money, pay the bills, and then eat a mango, take a rotten mango. You are not saying rotten mango, and cut down the part and eat. So we had a volition over there. So from the volition, then you come to the perversion that there is self, while it is not self, which we learned little while ago using the surfboard example as well as the mango example. So now you have the view clinging, and then the bond of views, and then you get the body type of misapprehension. So this body type of misapprehension is very closely related to the virtue and duty clinging. Because of that one, you get the body type of misapprehension. You see what we misapprehend. In the virtue and duty clinging, remember I was telling a student, a little boy having seen an engineer constructing a bridge. He thought that I will become an engineer. Let us say he is in the uni now, in the first year. He hasn't even done the first year exam. What is he thinking? He is thinking, I am an engineer. And the fourth year comes, he might die, may not face the exam. And medical student is always thinking, I am a doctor. And similarly, the person who thought that by practicing virtue I will be, go to the divine world, he thinks that I am a divine being. So because of virtue and duty clinging, you misapprehend that I am an engineer, doctor, I am equivalent to a divine being and so on. You see, the virtue is fine, and the problem is that you are clinging to the result of the virtue and you misapprehend. So from that one, you get the taint of view, which we explain that the perversion that there is permanency. From the permanency you get as a post perception, you get the taint of views. So then I need to explain, how do I get this perception of permanency? You get the perception of permanency whenever you can spin the physical nutriment with the barb of lust. One good example is that let us say you are invited to a party. So then you get dressed and then you go to that party, and then when you go there you can see a plate of cutlet on a table. As soon as you see the cutlet, cutlet, and it's like a light coming to your mind. But there are manners. You can't just go and grab the cutlet as soon as you go there. You have to wait until they invite you to eat. So nearby that cutlet plate, you are staying, you can see the cutlet is there. And another person is coming. That person is also looking at the cutlet is there, but still they haven't started eating. So a little while later they are started talking to each other. And then they see, maybe they were talking about politics and they forgot about the cutlet, and then when they look at the cutlet, the other people have started eating and it is disappearing. What do? They stop talking and go and grab the cutlet. Now, just imagine if somebody is actually taking another plate of cutlet and filling this on back again, no point. You can actually keep talking and do whatever talking you're doing. So what happened over here? As far as you can have this contact, cutlet is there, it generated the view that, the perception that it is permanent. So that's how you get the perception of permanency. That's why when it is disappearing, then you panic and going and grabbing the cutlet. So that is how the perception of permanency established. The physical need to want, you are spinning with the barb of lust. Now, when you get that perception, that sort of thought, then that one is maintained by your conceit or your vanity. So there is a sort of a bridge from this perversion that is the self, from the self to permanency. So the left side is the self, the right side is the permanency. So you are actually making a bridge from self to that one. You have a jack over here supporting it. That is your conceit or your vanity. One good example to explain this one. Let us say you want to buy a car. So you take $50,000 or so and you are going to the car dealer. You are happy with the car and then you are signing the papers. By that time, the car dealer is telling you that I am giving you only 3 years. What is he actually saying? That means 3 years means that, this vehicle will be broken in 3 years' time. Do you believe it? That you don't believe it. I mean, it happened to me when I go to buy a car in Brunei. As soon as the car dealer said this one, then I was thinking, my father had a car. He was saying 3 years. I was thinking, my father had a car he used for 30 years. So it is permanent for 30 years, not 3. I had a car and I sold it after 15 years. I don't know what happened after that one. So 15. So he's saying 3, I'm saying 15. So that is how you from the self permanency. That we get the idea about the permanency by spinning from the barb of lust, and then it is supported by your conceit. And so the post-perception of that permanency is the taint of views. And the taint of views become increased, then you get the flood of views, and then you get the barb of views. Dittisalla. At that time, an arrow or dart is wedging into your mind. But the dart is labeled as self, while it is not self. We always take this on, isn't it? Sometimes you say, this is my job, it's mine. I am doing my job. But your office crowd, that institution, sometimes they actually show you that it is not yours. You are fired. And then you are thinking, how come? It's my job. So that there's a dart inside. So there's the dart wedging into our mind when we have this barb of views. So then perception becomes the steadying point for consciousness passing on. Because the perception is the one letting you come in this line to the mental volition and then to the barb of views. So since I got the barb of views from the perception, then the consciousness go and hold the perception. Now monkey, let go of the form, let go of the feeling, now go and hold the perception. So then we go bad way through fear. Why are we going bad way through fear? Because we are afraid our volitional formations will be broken. It's like a carpenter. Let us say he got 3 pieces of wood. 2 pieces are fine. The other one has got some damage. It's a sort of a insect bites and so on are there. So carpenter didn't have a choice, he constructed a table. And to the right side he can see that the, insect bite bitten that particular wood piece is there. Now he is afraid that this one will be broken. So likewise, that the perception here we are talking about, that he did not see there were 3 pieces of wood. He saw 2 pieces are fine. They are sort of permanent, not breaking. And one is sort of breaking. So he is afraid that this one will be broken. So there's a going bad way through fear. So 3 results are there. The sickness, sorrow, and union with what is displeasing. So the answer is the sorrow here. So I can extend that first meditation, the physical nutriment. We are spinning with barb of lust. We establish our consciousness in a canal of urine and excrement that is going bad way through will. Then we ended up with pain. Pain contacted by the mind. We are ending up with sadness. So from the sad perception, we construct volitional formations. Then the volitional formations has sorrow nature. So that is the meditation we are extending a little bit further. From the sorrow, full volitional formations, that we are constructing the consciousness. So here we are talking about the consciousness as nutriment. And for that one, Buddha gave in the Puttamahansa Sutra a good example. That is, here the consciousness as nutriment. This is the part of the Sanskrit discourse. And how bhikkhu should the nutriment consciousness be seen? Suppose they were to arrest a bandit, a criminal, and bring him before the king, saying, "Sire, this man is a bandit, a criminal. Impose on him whatever punishment you wish." The king says to them, "Go men, in the morning, strike this man with 100 spears." In the morning they strike him with 100 spears. Then at noon the king asks, "Men, how is that man?" "Still alive, sir." Then go and at noon strike him with 100 spears. At noon they strike him with 100 spears. Then in the evening the king asks, "Men, how is that man?" "Still alive, sire." Then go and in the evening strike him with 100 spears. In the evening they strike him with 100 spears. What do you think, bhikkhu? Would that man, being struck with 300 spears, experience pain and displeasure on that account? Venerable sir, even if he were struck with 1 spear, he would experience pain and displeasure on that account, not to speak about 300 spears. It is in such a way, bhikkhu, that I say nutriment consciousness should be seen. When the nutriment consciousness is fully understood, name and form is fully understood. When name and form is fully understood, I say there is nothing further that a noble disciple need to do. So that means he become an arahant. So we've been struck by, these spears, 300 spears. What is the first one we are getting struck with? In the morning. Let us say someone, here in Melbourne, going to work 2 hours, taking the bus or, train, getting up early in the morning, catch the train. And so that person may be coming home around 8 o'clock at night time. So maybe he is sleeping, or he or she, let's say she is sleeping around 11 o'clock or so, night time. Now you put the alarm, getting up again next day, 3 o'clock or so. So that is the first spear, isn't it? Some people actually throw away the alarm, this stupid thing not letting me sleep. That is the first spear. And then you go to kitchen. Are you happy to see it? Because you were cooking yesterday And then you have to cook again. And now you get another one, another sphere. And what I am going to cook? Your menu. Whether it's a carrot or beans that I am going to cook. So the another sphere is striking. And then, if you are going to cook and if you don't have, tomato, salt or whatever thing missing, then another sphere. And then you can see if the salt is more or salt is less in the food, in another sphere. Then this person is getting into the train, you are getting quashed and so on, and crowded trains, so on. So another sphere is striking you. When you go to the office, and in the office people, are they saying, oh, you are poor thing, you get up in the early morning and came through, you are tired, aren't you? Sit down, I will bring a cup of tea. Is anyone telling you that? No. They are asking, why did you late? Why did you come late? The people are waiting for you. If you do this one again, then we have to take actions. And then so another sphere. And the lunchtime, then you might be going to buy some food, vegetables or something in the supermarket, and then you get another sphere because there's a lot of chemicals nowadays. In the afternoon you are getting to the train again, another sphere is striking. So your 18-year-old baby is not at home, you can't even sleep, so another sphere is striking. So you can see morning to the afternoon, then you have been struck by 300 spheres. Buddha said this is the average, isn't it? Sometimes it is more than that. Each time that is what it is. It's a very good example. Why is it a very good example? So what this man has done, is maybe he was stealing. So that is your form of karma. Because of this karma, then you have the consciousness. So that is how you should be understanding the consciousness as nutriment. So the end result would be sort of lamentation, because that you've been, the spears are striking you for 300 spears for a day, then you are not happy with that one. So lamentation would be sort of answer. So from the consciousness as nutriment, as we understand, then we get this permanency, the perversion that there is permanence while it is impermanent, which I explained using that, the barb of lust spinning as well as the vehicle by an example. So when you get this permanency, then you have the self theory clinging. Having pursued the self, you cling to it. Like the person on the surfboard, I am here, I feel, I perceive. So having pursued the self, you cling to that one. Then you get the bond of ignorance. What is this bond of ignorance? You learn the bond as the, not letting you escape from the samsara. What is ignorance? Ignorance you have already learned. Those are the 12 perversions. That 12 perversions are the closest thing for the ignorance. In the first path you can see, there is a perception that it is fair while it is foul. The perception, the thought that it is fair, the view that is fair. So there are 3 things. And then in the second one, there is a perception that it is pleasurable, the thought that it is pleasurable, view that it is pleasurable. Now it is 6. And when you come to the third one, the perception that it is self, the thought that it is self, and the view that it is self, there is self. So then you can see there's 9 things over here. So when you come to the fourth one, there is a perception that it is permanent, and the view, thought that it is permanent, the view that it is permanent. So there are 12 things. Now all those things mixed up, and that is the closest thing for the ignorance. That is the ignorance itself. Now it is like, let's say on a top of a mountain, a nice water stream is flowing through, pure in color. And then one person climbed the mountain put red dye to the water stream. The another one little bit further down put green dye. Another one putting yellow. Another one putting blue or something. And let us say you are on the bottom of the mountain slope, and then can you actually determine this water? Is it red, yellow, green or blue? It was all mixed up. So likewise, you can't determine that what has happened to you today. Is it because I got it as fair? Or is it because I got it, took it as pleasure? Is it because I perceive it as self? Or is it because I perceive it as permanent? Or is it because my thought that it is permanent? Or is it because my view that it is permanent? The all 12, mixed up. And then you can't determine. So that is the bond of ignorance. So that bond of ignorance, then you get the body tie of insistence that this is truth. So what is there inside this body tie of insistence? Is lying, harsh speech, frivolous talks and slander. This is the biggest thing. So how do we get this one? You see, when you take that mango, cut down the rotten mango and eat, we are saying it's pleasurable. What did Buddha said? What Buddha said? Buddha said that it is suffering. So while Buddha said it is suffering, we are saying, no sir, when I eat a mango, it is pleasurable for me. We insist. So that is the body tie of insistence, that it is truth, the pleasure, that is the truth. So it is not so. So from that one you get the taint of ignorance. This taint of ignorance is the post-perception of you taking something as self. Now in that case, you might get a bit confused, isn't it? Because little while ago we said the post-perception of self is the taint of existence. Now we are saying post-perception of self is taint of ignorance. It is not like that. It is the post-perception, that is true. But this guy has to approve it. The body tie of insistence that this is truth has to approve it. After approval, the self become the taint of ignorance. That likewise, that let us say example, you put a stamp to a letter and then you post it. Just because you put a stamp and put it to the post box, does it go? Now the postmaster is looking at it, whether this person has attached the correct amount of stamp, and then that person is cancelling the seal or something. Yeah, that's the correct one. So the insistence, body tie of insistence has to approve, yes, this is the truth. So then you get the taint of ignorance. So then we get the flood of ignorance. It's becoming more and more. When it comes to unbearable state, we get the barb of delusion. Moha salla. At that time, a dart is wedging into your mind. The dart is labeled as permanent. What is inside the dart is the impermanency. The poison is impermanency. So you can see when the poison comes out, you die. That is one of the answers, the death over here. So when you have that dart wedged into your mind, barb of delusion, then the volitional formations become the steadying point for consciousness passing on. Because the volitional formations is the one constructing the consciousness. Therefore, your consciousness be steady on the volitional formations. It's like that monkey, let go of the form, let go of the feeling, let go of the perception, now hold into the volitional formations. So therefore you go bad way through delusion. The bad way through delusion include all the other bad ways. Bad way through will, bad way through hate, bad way through fear. It has got its own bad way as well. For example, if you are, that's Alara Kalama, who was attaining a higher jhana concentration, he was thinking that it is lasting. So because of jhana, you might think it that way as well. So the three results can be expected: the death, lamentation, and not getting what one wants. Remember, there are 300 spears striking from morning to the afternoon. So there is this lamentation. You are crying. Now, we can extend that meditation, and this is your first meditation. For the first meditation, what we are using is the first line, that is physical nutriment, contact as nutriment, mental volition, and consciousness as nutriment. And the one before the last line, pain, sadness, sorrow, and lamentation. So how do we do that one? The physical nutriment, we spin with the barb of lust, and we establish our consciousness in a canal of urine and excrement that is going badly through will. What I ended up with pain. Pain contacted by the mind, what I get is the sadness. From the sad perception, we construct volitional formations. Those volitional formations have sorrow nature. From the sorrowful volitional formations, we construct consciousness, and that consciousness has the lamentation nature. Like 300 spears striking me, I lament. So I'm crying all the time, morning to the afternoon. So that is your life. So that will give you a very good idea about the life itself. So that is the first meditation. And for the second meditation, remember we are actually using the meditation technique like a cooking with a recipe. And this is the recipe. From the physical nutriment to go into the pain. There are 11 Dhamma parts on that one, 11 ideas. So for the physical nutriment, remember we need to put examples to understand this one. So one good example is the food that you are eating. So that's the physical nutriment. Another good example is a beautiful person. You can even put your own body over there. The physical nutriment, even a building become a physical nutriment. Although we are not eating the building, there are some creatures eating these buildings. So, since you are not that sort of a creature, you use one that appealing to you, that is the food that you are eating and a beautiful person, or you yourself. And then you are asking, well, are they qualifying for physical nutriment? Yes, food is a physical nutriment. And a beautiful person is also physical nutriment. Puttamahansa Sutta in Sanskrit discourse. So you put a tick, yes, it is the physical nutriment. Then you are asking yourself, am I getting this perversion that there is fair while it is in the foul? In the case of food, for example, you can see if you put food on a top of a table and let it be there for 2 or 3 days time, it is smelly, isn't it? Then you close your nose and put into the bin. You take the food and you put inside your body as well. It will be there for 2 days or something like that. And then the excrement coming out, then you understand how smelly it is. So it's not a fair thing, it's a foul thing. We take it as fair. And another example that we put over has a beautiful person. So you can see that person's, the mouth is smelly. Somebody is touching that person thinking that it's a fair thing, while it is actually foul nature. Then you tolerate the smell. So we got the view that it is fair as well. So you put another tick here. For the both example it counts. And then, do I cling to sensual desire because of this one? Yes, I do. The food that I am eating today, I want it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and so on. So I am holding it, so there is clinging to sensual desire. Then you are asking, do I have the bond of sensual desire? Yes, I do. Because I want to have food, Therefore, I am going to the work. When I go to work, it's considered as stealing. Since I am stealing, I will be born again. When I be born, then I have to have food again. So therefore, I am going to work. Like that dog running around the pole. So that's not never ending. Going from samsara, birth to birth. So there is this bond of sensual desire because of this food. And as well as sensual desires. And then you get the bodhicitta of covetousness. Am I binding? Yes, because I like my food, so I tie to that one. And then I am tying to the job. And then I am tying to the vehicle that allowing me to go to work. And to the house. And also to the cooker in the house as well. So there is this bodhicitta of covetousness. You are saying, let this be mine. Do all those things. And then do I have taint of sensual desire? Yes, yesterday also, having eaten that thing, I said, yes, this is pleasurable. Remember, taint of sensual desire is the post-perception of me taking something as pleasurable. So I was expressing it, so that means I have the taint of sensual desire. And was it increasing or decreasing? It is increasing, isn't it? A colleague of mine in Australia was telling, the best thing happened to this country. So he's a European. He said, the various people, came to this country and they brought their food to our country. Now we are eating our food as well as their food. And that is the best thing that happened over here. You see, it's increasing. Or maybe you are going to somebody's house and for a party, and then this person coming up with a curry, try this one. And then you say, yes, this is good. Where did you buy this one from? From that supermarket. So maybe 25 kilometers away, you are driving to buy that food from that one. So it's becoming increasing. So that, yes, it has increased within me and it. So that is the flood of sensual desire. And when it comes to unbearable state, that is the barb of lust. So at that time you can remember, a dart is wedging into your mind, labeled as fair. Remember that girl and a boy scenario we were talking about? They can't get rid of because the dart is inside. So when you have the barb of lust, then the form becomes the steadying point. So I am going back to the physical nirvana. Easy to understand. You put something to your mouth and it is from here to here. That's all. Then the consciousness is no longer there, feeling is no longer there. Do I let it go? No, I mixed up something and put it back. So I am going back to the form. So the physical nirvana, barb of lust, we are going back to the form. That is the form become the steadying point for consciousness passing on. So then you go bad way through will. For me to have food, then I need to creep into a mother's womb or animal womb to a canal of urine and excrement. So having done that one, I ended up with pain. Then you are asking, is it befitting for me to do that one? So that is the second meditation. For the third meditation, we are going across. You can see this. There is this birth and aging, the sickness and death. So you had a baby type body, now it's come up to over here. Now you don't have that body anymore. So now you can see that you are in a mind-made body and you have not eaten for many days, many years. So there is this pain. So now you can see you were separated from the baby type body. That is separation from what is facing. So now it is going across birth, pain, separation from what is facing, which we can actually see with the arrow over here. Birth, pain, separation from what is facing. And you have only one body. And if you are separated from the dearly loved body, what you left with? Union with what is displacing. So now you can see the aging sadness, then you get union with what is displacing. Sickness, sorrow, you get not getting what one wants. But for the meditation, you are using only 2 arrows. Birth, pain, separation from what is pleasing. Aging, sadness, union with what is displeasing. So there are only 6 parts over here. But to do that one, you can see, we need to have, to have the mind-made body. And I have not eaten that scenario pain. For that one, we got to have the death. So the sickness and death should be there. So there are only 8 parts over here. And this one is more powerful than the other 2 meditations because it involves the results of the second and third parts as well. Although you are not doing the second and the third column meditations, I'm asking beginner to do only the first column meditation, but the others can do other ones as well. So this is the third meditation. So what is the first one? And for the first one, we are looking at the first line, one before the last line. So how do we do that one? Physical nutriment. We spin with the barb of lust and we establish our consciousness in a canal of urine and excrement that is going bad day through will. What I ended up with pain. Pain contacted by the mind, I ended up with sadness. From the sad perception, we construct volitional formations and they have sorrow nature. From the sorrowful volitional formations, we construct consciousness and it has lamentation nature. Remember that spears striking? It's in morning to the afternoon. You lament, lamentation is there. So that is the first meditation. For the second meditation, you are going through only the first column, physical nutriment. You put your own example, your body as a physical nutriment and a food, whatever the food you like to eat. You can have other examples as well. You can put your own body as well. A beautiful person. And then you go through this one. And then you are asking, I establish my mind in a canal of urine and excrement. And I am ending up with pain. Would it be better for me to do this one? Because of this physical nutriment, that we are going in this bad way. So that is the second meditation. The third meditation you are going across. So let's take 10 or 15 minutes for you to discuss this one. And then we will do the meditation.